Hello guys, and welcome back to your daily story with Megan and my sister. It's my video and it's your daily story, and it's again from the Complete Tales of Blackberry Farm. I think I'm just going to run through the Tales of Blackberry Farm, and today's story is Mrs. Nibble. I'm wearing the same pyjamas as yesterday's video, and they're Harry Potter because 9 3/4 because I filmed this back to back from the last one. So I've just filmed Postman Joe and now I'm going Mrs. Nibble. And I'll probably do 3 or 4 like this. So if I'm wearing the same pyjamas, you know why, because I'm filming it back to back. Just so I can get filming in to upload every day. So the story is Mrs. Nibble. And sit back, relax, and let me read you a story. Mrs. Nibble lived with her 3 babies, Rosie, Posy and Christopher, in a little house in the bank of the field behind Blackberry Farm. Mr. Nibble lived there too, when he had time, but he was a very busy rabbit, and he did a lot of work in the burrows on the other side of the village. Mrs. Nibble was a very busy rabbit too, because with 3 children to look after, there was always a lot of washing and cooking to be done. But Rosie, Posy and Christopher were very good little bunnies and played in the grass outside their house while Mrs. Nibble was doing their work. And in the afternoon she put them in a pram and pushed them down to the village to do the shopping. And in the evenings, when they were all tucked up in bed, she did the ironing and mending. Mrs. Nibble was a very friendly rabbit, but she did not have much time to go and see her friends. So Joe Robin the postman used to fly around most days and tell her all the news when he brought the letters. One day Joe flew around in great haste after breakfast and told Mrs. Nibble that a lot of the little bunnies on the other side of the village were ill in bed. "I've heard they're covered with spots," he said, "and are sneezing and something terrible." Mrs. Nibble was almost alarmed. "It's quite true," Mr. Nibble said at lunchtime. "Ernest Owl thinks it's the measles. He should know because he's wise." So they watched the little bunnies very carefully. But Rosie, Posy and Christopher did not have any spots, and they did not sneeze, and they ate up their meals beautifully. So Mrs. Nibble forgot all about the measles and began to work hard, planting out lettuces and thinning the carrots. And then one day at tea, Rosie sneezed 5 times. "Bless you," Mrs. Nibble said, and lent her handkerchief. And then Posy sneezed 5 times too. "Bless you," said Mrs. Nibble, and fetched another handkerchief. And then Christopher sneezed, and Mrs. Nibble wiped his nose for him, because he was the youngest. But when Mr. Nibble came into his tea, they all sneezed together 7 times each, without stopping. Suddenly Mrs. Nibble remembered the measles in the burrows on the other side of the village. She flung up her paws in horror and looked across the table at Mr. Nibble, and he nodded his head grimly at her. Without a word, Mrs. Nibble cleared the tea table and got the bath ready in front of the kitchen fire for Rosie, Posy and Christopher. She undressed them and then put them all in the bath, and then she looked at each one. There could be no doubt they were all covered with spots. Quickly, she washed them and dried them and took them up in their bed and gave them each a mug of warm milk and bran biscuit and kissed them good night. In the morning, Ernest Owl came and looked at Rosie, Posy and Christopher. He saw their spots and heard them sneeze and took their temperature. You must keep them in bed," he told Mrs. Nibble, "until all their spots and sneezes have gone. Give them plenty to drink and keep them warm. I will come again in a week's time." So Mrs. Nibble kept Rosie, Posy and Christopher in bed for a week, and Mr. Nibble bought them some new toys to play with, and Emily the goat was very kind and gave Mrs. Nibble some extra milk when she heard the children were ill. When Ernest Owl saw them a week later, he was pleased with them and told Mrs. Nibble they could get up. "I'm starting a school at Blackberry Farm soon," he told Mrs. Nibble. "You must let Rosie, Posy and Christopher come. Just lessons in the morning, and I will let you know when term begins." Mr. and Mrs. Nibble were very pleased when they heard about the school, and in the evenings, while Mr. Nibble read aloud to her, Mrs. Nibble sat beside the fire and in the little house in the bank of the field behind Blackberry Farm, making new clothes for Rosie, Posy and Christopher for their first term at school. The end. So I hope you enjoyed this video as much as I did. This is a pretty old book. It's pretty old. It was my mum's when she was young, so you've got to be talking about 30 years old, probably. and when she was my age, about 30, 34, 29, 30 years old. So, and I really hope you like this story time. And actually, with this video, you might not need to go out and buy the book. You can just listen to me read you stories over and over and over again. And I'm gonna get through the whole book probably, but I might take a few breaks, like do Happy Families or something the other days. But the next story is Emily the Goat, and yeah, my favourite out of all these stories is, I don't know. Simple short answer, I don't know which one's my favourite. But yeah, I hope after I'm reading these all to you, you're going to have a favourite of these and enjoy it as much as I enjoy reading to you. So thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe to my channel for more videos like this, and this is a daily thing, so a daily story time will be up. So subscribe if you for more story times, and keep those thumbs up, and yeah. So see you in the next video. Goodbye!